Let me ask you a brutally honest question. How do you know when a woman is not just interested, but when you've actually started living in her mind? Not when she says it, not when she makes it obvious, because most women don't. They hide it, they soften it, they disguise it, and that's exactly why most men miss the moment. They wait for something dramatic, a confession, a bold move, a clear signal they can't possibly misunderstand. But that's not how it works, especially when a woman feels something real. Because when attraction gets deeper, she doesn't become louder, she becomes more subtle, more curious, more emotionally present, more affected by you than she wants to admit. And if you don't know how to read those changes, you will mistake real emotional pull for casual friendliness and lose the moment without even realizing it. So today I'm going to show you the 7 signs a woman is quietly becoming obsessed with you. Not obsessed in a loud or unhealthy way, but in the way your presence starts getting under her skin, when she thinks about you longer than she should, when your attention means more to her than she wants to show. And the last sign is the one most men completely miss because on the surface it looks small, but psychologically it changes everything. So stay with me, because by the end of this, you're going to recognize when a woman is no longer just noticing you, but emotionally circling around you in private. And if you've ever realized too late that you missed your moment, this will sharpen how you read attraction from now on. The first sign is she remembers details you forgot you even said. This is one of the clearest early signals. A woman who is emotionally affected by you starts holding on to small details, random things most people forget within minutes. You mention a song, she remembers. You mention a place, she brings it up later. You tell a small story, and days later, she references it like it mattered. Because to her, it did. That's the shift. Your words stop being background noise and start carrying weight. Not because she's trying to impress you, but because her mind has already started assigning meaning to you. And when attention increases, memory follows. So if she remembers things you didn't think were important, that means emotionally you already matter more than you think. The second sign is she finds excuses to stay in contact. This one is subtle and easy to miss because she won't say she just wants to talk to you. Instead, she creates reasons. Small, harmless reasons. She sends you something that reminded her of you, asks questions she could have answered herself, keeps conversations alive that could have ended, reaches out in low-pressure ways that seem insignificant but keep the connection open. Because once a woman starts thinking about you more than she planned to, silence feels different. She wants a thread, a way back into your world without looking obvious. And this is where many men ruin it. They either ignore the pattern or respond with too much energy too fast and kill the tension. The smarter move is to notice consistency, not one message, but repeated effort, because women protect their attention, and when she invests it in you repeatedly, you are no longer random. The third sign is her energy changes when you enter the room. This is powerful because it's hard to fake. She can control words, expressions, even behavior, but energy leaks. So watch closely. Does she become more aware of herself? Adjust her posture? Shift her tone? Smile differently? Go quiet for a moment before re-engaging? Orient her body toward you even when talking to others. That is not coincidence. That is her system reacting before her mind organizes it. This is where attraction becomes physical, because your presence disrupts her baseline. She feels you before she explains you, and that is a strong indicator. The fourth sign is she tests how much you notice. Once a woman starts caring, she also starts wondering if you see her, if you notice the small changes, if your attention is real or generic. And instead of asking directly, she tests. Sometimes playfully, sometimes subtly. She changes something about her appearance, says something slightly provocative, goes quiet to see if you react, pulls back a little to see if you chase or stay grounded. These are not always conscious games. Often they are emotional reflexes, because when attachment grows, uncertainty grows with it. She wants reassurance, but also authenticity, and testing usually means investment. Because a woman who feels nothing doesn't test, she just leaves. The fifth sign is she reacts to your absence. This is where casual interest becomes deeper. A woman who is lightly interested enjoys your presence. A woman who is becoming attached feels your absence. When you disappear, does she reappear? Does her energy shift when you're less available? Does she become warmer when you return? That shows you are affecting her internal rhythm, and once that happens, she starts experiencing contrast. Your presence feels good, your absence feels noticeable, and that is where emotional gravity begins, which is why being constantly available kills attraction, because if she never feels your absence, she never realizes your impact. The sixth sign is she becomes emotionally more open than she planned to. This one is critical, because when a woman starts feeling something real, she often reveals more than intended. Not everything, not instantly, but more depth, more honesty, more personal stories. She may say something vulnerable and then laugh it off, or say she doesn't know why she told you that. And that line matters, because it means you've crossed an internal barrier. She feels safe enough to open before she consciously decided to. And women do not do that with men who feel careless. They do it when presence feels stable and attention feels real. So if she is becoming more emotionally transparent, you are moving into her inner world. And once you're there, you are much harder to replace. And the seventh sign is she tries to act normal, and that's exactly what gives her away. This is the one most men miss because they expect obvious behavior. But when a woman is deeply affected, she often becomes more controlled, more careful, more measured. Not less interested, but more aware. She edits herself, watches her reactions, tries not to reveal too much. And that effort creates contradictions. She looks composed, but her eyes linger. She sounds casual, but remembers everything. She pretends something didn't matter, but reacts when you pull back. She acts normal, but her energy around you is anything but normal. Because once a woman is emotionally hooked, part of her wants to protect herself. She doesn't want to feel exposed, so she hides it. And that's why many men miss it, because they expect attraction to become louder when sometimes it becomes quieter but deeper, more psychological than verbal. So here's the pattern. She remembers details, keeps contact alive. Her energy shifts around you. She tests your awareness. She reacts to your absence. She opens emotionally. And she tries to hide it while revealing it anyway. And when multiple of these appear together, you are no longer guessing. You are understanding. And the most important part is this. The goal is not to get carried away by attention. It's to not ruin it. Because once a woman starts feeling you deeply, the worst thing you can do is become overeager, insecure, or careless. That breaks the tension immediately. What works is calmness, steadiness, and self-control, letting her move toward the feeling at her own pace, because the men women stay mentally attached to are not the ones who chase the hardest. They are the ones who created something real without forcing it, without collapsing into neediness, without breaking the emotional rhythm too early. That is what lingers. That is what she replays in her mind later. That is what becomes obsession. And if this changed how you see attraction, subscribe, because in the next video, I'm going to show you the subtle signs a woman wants you badly but is trying not to show it. And once you see them, you'll never confuse politeness with real emotional pull again.